What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So I'm going to give my predictions of game week 21 in the Premier League. Starting off in West London, Brentford against Manchester City. After losing at home to Plymouth in the FA Cup, Brentford have lost their last 3 consecutive home games after being unbeaten before that point from the start of the season. They lost to Nottingham and Arsenal in the league before that, but their biggest strength is in transition, and Bremer and Biss are their pace, Jada as well, Lewis Potter likes to get involved, and they've got Damcod who's actually getting really good at finding them in space. And that is where Manchester City are really weak. They still don't have a central midfielder. I think Kusanov is done now. Will he play? I don't know. But Brentford do have the tools to hurt Manchester City. However, Manchester City are starting to put a bit of form together now. Savinho is forming a really good partnership with Haaland. Doku and McAtee were both unbelievable against Salford. I know it was only Salford, but Doku's got to start, man. Brentford will be boosted with the return of Rico Henry, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think Manchester City will still edge it 3-2. It's going to be a very close one. Could go either way. I can't believe I'm saying that about this match. And please, Man City, just get it done. Win 4-0. I mean, Brentford have Liverpool at home after this as well, so it's not exactly going to get much easier for them. Chelsea against Bournemouth, staying in West London. The Blues are winless in their last 4 league games. Bournemouth are unbeaten in 8. However, the Cherries do not have a striker because both Evan Nilsson and Ines Unal have got injured at the same time, which is really unfortunate. Chelsea still looking to do a bit of business, and Kunku's rumoured to be on the way out. So is Renato Vega. Not really that important considering the amount of players they do have and the fact that them two have hardly even played in the league this season. But Chelsea do look like they've been found out a little bit. Bournemouth do press really well, and without Fofana in the back line, they look really shaky. Although the Blues will be boosted with the returns of both Reece James and Romeo Lavia that played in the FA Cup on the weekend. I think it's going to be a really tough one for them though. They did win 1-0 on the South Coast, but Bournemouth should have won that one 6-0 if not for a Robert Sanchez masterclass. And I think he will have a good game here again, but I think Bournemouth do get something. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Zabani and Howson have been brilliant at the back for the Cherries. Kepa can't play in this game against his parent club. But Travers has been fantastic when he's had to step in. And if Gusto is the lad that starts at right back, I think Caracas will have a lot of success against him because Gusto has been really bad this season. West Ham against Fulham, staying in the capital, but this time moving to the east side, although the visitors are another side from West London. A London derby here. West Ham for the first time in the Premier League under the management of Graham Potter. He did lose his first game against Aston Villa in the FA Cup, and they will be without Fulkrug, without Jared Bowen, probably without Somerville as well, and obviously without Antonio. So they're very light in the forward area, which is a real shame because I think Somerville Bowen are both going to cook really, really well under Graham Potter with Kudus and Paqueta as well. These sides did draw 1-1 earlier in the season at Craven Cottage, although Fulham were very unlucky not to win. Danny Ings equalising at the 95th minute with West Ham's only real chance of the game. And I think in this game, West Ham will take the 3 points, 2-1. They're going to have a new manager bounce in the league. Fulham have been very good this season, but they did draw their last 2 league games against Bournemouth and Ipswich at home, both 2-2. They'll probably be a bit disappointed with that considering that they beat Chelsea away before that for the first ever time in the Premier League. It's a must win for West Ham. Fulham are a bit above them in the table. In terms of squad, you'd probably say West Ham are the better one, and although Lopetegui has held them back so much this season, he's gone. West Ham still have the opportunity to get into Europe, but if they're going to do that, they have to win these sorts of games. Nottingham Forest against Liverpool, 3rd against 1st. Can't believe Nottingham Forest are in 3rd right now, and that is incredible. Fair play to Nuno Espirito Santo. He's done a brilliant job. And Forest are the only team that have beaten Liverpool this season. They won 1-0 at Anfield in the league, I should say. Obviously, Tottenham beat them a couple of days ago as well. But yeah, they won 1-0 at Anfield. It was a masterclass. He packed the midfield first half and hit him on the break second half. Liverpool have shown frailties in the last few games as well. Obviously, Forest on that day showed how to get the better of Liverpool, and that is just to force Salah wide. And in the last couple of games, Tottenham have done that as well, as have Manchester United. And if you isolate him wide, they really don't have much threat. You know, Gakpo's obviously very good, and he's another danger, but Ola Aina on him, I trust Ola Aina. Defensively, Forest have been brilliant. Milenkovic and Murillo have arguably been the best duo in the league this season. Danilo is back as well, more defensive-minded midfielder, which could be huge for this sort of game, especially if it's 1-0 to Forest in the 70th minute and they want to bring him on. Gibbs White, Elliot Anderson have both been brilliant. Chris Wood, always seems to pop up with a goal. I think Forest do it again, man. I'm backing them. I'm going 1-0 Forest. I hope Forest do win as well, just for the title race, because if Liverpool win this, it's done, ain't it? I mean, it's probably done anyway because they are 6 points clear with a game in hand. But at least if they lose this, there's a chance, you know. I really like watching Forest because they're not one of those teams that just sit with the ball, tossing around the back for 90 minutes with 70%. They don't care about the ball, they have the ball. When they get the ball, they break forward so fast. It's brilliant to watch, man. Now, fair play to Santo. Like I said, I was so wrong about him. Everton against Aston Villa, another new managerial appointment. David Moyes makes his return to Goodison Park. He takes charge of Everton again for the first time in over a decade. To be honest with you, is it that much of an upgrade from Sean Dyche? I don't know. The style of football isn't going to be too dissimilar, and the quality of players is obviously not going to change. And Everton are very injury hit still. Calvert-Lewin is a bit shaky. She was training, so he should be okay, but McNeil's still out. Broja, who's definitely looks a lot better than Calvert-Lewin, is out. You've still got Garner out injured. Like, there's still a couple others as well. So it's a shame. Villa do have a couple of their own as well, though, like Ross Barkley, who, former Evertonian, has been really good as well in the last couple of games. However, the Villains are boosted by the return of John Duran after a 3-game suspension. He scored a banger against Everton when Villa came back from 2-0 down earlier in the season to win at Villa Park. However, I think David Moyes will do something to that stadium, man. Everton, when they're behind the team, they are so hard to play against at Goodison Park, because that stadium is loud. It is a brilliant atmosphere they can create there. And I think they're going to do that here, but I do think Villa will get something because of John Duran. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. That man is inevitable. I don't think he'll start the game, but he'll come on and he'll equalise because he is just so good. Leicester City against Crystal Palace. Huge game for Leicester City, who are in a really bad run of form. In the league, they've lost their last 5 games. They're winless in 6. They did absolutely smash my team in the FA Cup. But to be fair, we rotated our whole team nearly, and they played a full-strength team. And Buonanotte and El Canoes combined for one of the goals. I don't know why Ruben Nistelrooy isn't playing them together more often. When against Manchester City, the one game they have played together under his leadership, and I guess West Ham as well. But they were brilliant. Buonanotte man of the match. El Canoes was fantastic as well. It was like, why are they not played together more often? Especially when it's Ayew coming in, man. I know he's former Palace, but still, like, Buonanotte he's their best player. He's been their best player this season. You've got to play him, Rude. I don't care if he's there or alone. If you want to survive, you play it. Now, Leicester were minutes away. Well, I say minutes. They were seconds away, pretty much, from getting a big 3 points at Selhurst Park earlier in the season before Jean-Philippe Mateta levelled it. And I think this is a game where Leicester have to win because Palace are in a pretty decent run of form. They're not really in any relegation danger anymore. I know they're still quite close to the zone, but in terms of points, they're not going to go down, are they? They've only suffered 1 defeat in their last 9 games. It's going to be 2-10. Leicester City are going to win at the King Power. 2-1 to the Foxes. Vardy and Buonanotte are going to score, and it will be the start of a potential escape once again from Leicester City. Newcastle United against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Newcastle won at Molineux 2-1 after a beautiful Harvey Barnes goal. Can he do it again? Hopefully, it would be beautiful to see. But Newcastle on a brilliant run of form, man. They've won their last 5 consecutive league games. They've won their last 8 games in all competitions, and they've played some really tricky games in that time. And most of them, I think nearly all their tricky ones, have been away from home. Arsenal, Man United, Tottenham. These are grounds where they typically have struggled at in the past. They look so comfortable. Obviously, they cannot allow complacency to set in. Wolves are fighting for their lives, and they will be boosted with the return of Mateus Cunha. But I still think Newcastle United at home are going to have more than enough quality to put away this Wolves team. 3-1 Newcastle. Their winning run will continue, and they will march into the top 4, and they will stay in the top 4 till the end of the season. But it's been a genuinely really good few weeks for Newcastle, man. Almost in a cup final. They've got through the FA Cup. They're on a brilliant run of form. Eddie Howe is doing fantastic. Arsenal, Tottenham. Arsenal, Tottenham are probably the 2 big 6 teams that have the most mutual detestation towards each other. Historically, they've always been around each other. There's not really been any period of one of them is really far down the table or anything. I think at least in the Premier League, this is the game between 2 teams that have the most hatred towards each other. Now, they're both not in great form. I mean, off the pitch, they've had some issues. Arsenal fans are getting a bit what are we doing, man? Why are we not signing any packers? And rightly so. Arteta is just, I don't know what he's doing, man. He keeps experimenting with things I don't need experimenting with. Just stick Rice in the 8, play Partey or Jorginho as a 6, and you'll win more games. Stop forcing Mourinho in the 8 and putting Rice backwards, man. Just leave Rice where he's best. Leave Rice where you had the best success last season. They haven't really been linked with any, like Kvaratskhelia, wants to leave Napoli. Why are Arsenal not in for that? Especially with Bukayo Saka's injury, Trossard's clear lack of ability now, Martinelli's clear, decline from a couple of years ago. Kai Havertz's kind of lack of goal threat now. When he's not feeling confident, he's awful. And Gabriel Jesus is injured, Bukayo Saka's injured. They need someone. Kvaratskhelia provide something. Go and get Harvey Barnes. I'm telling you, go and get Harvey Barnes ahead, please. And Tottenham, again, they've been in a really bad run of form at home. Now, I know we've bottled it to Tamworth a couple of days ago, which is mad. For them to take Tottenham to extra time is incredible. They did win their first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final, which is huge, and they were fantastic in that game as well. Arsenal out of the FA Cup after losing to Manchester United, that went 120 minutes as well. Could there be some fatigue in that one? I don't know. I think this is a game between two teams who are not feeling confident at all, who are a little bit like, oh, we just kind of want a point here. We don't really want to lose. But Arsenal being the home team have to win. If they are going to win the title, they've got their two closest teams playing against each other the day before. If Forest do win that, Arsenal have to win. And I think they will win 2-1. It's going to be a close one. But I just think Ange Postecoglou has shown very little flexibility, very little adaptability. I know he did it against Liverpool, which was fantastic to see. They went more defensive, and it was brilliant. It worked perfectly. Will he do that again? I don't know. Will it work again in this one where Arsenal don't really have the biggest threat from wingers like Mohamed Salah for Liverpool? I don't know. But Arsenal are always the dominant team in this game. And at the Emirates, Tottenham have a horrid record, so I don't expect them to do anything. Ipswich Town against Brighton. Brighton have not won in their last 8 league games, although they have drawn 6 of them. And Ipswich Town are unbeaten in their last 2, and they did get a draw at the Amex. And I think they're going to draw again. I've gone with a 1-1. Liam Delap was just fantastic last time, although it did require a Muric masterclass. He has since been dropped from the team because of how bad he's been after that point. But Ipswich do seem to have settled a lot more now. I think they look a lot more defensively solid. They look like they believe in themselves a bit more. Delap's obviously been brilliant. I think we've seen a bit more from Amari Hutchinson, although he has since been injured. I think Jack Clark could have a good one here. I don't know why, I've just got a feeling. But it'll be 9 games without a win for Brighton, which would be really bad for a team that looked really good at the start of the season. And finally, Manchester United against Southampton. Manchester United's last 2 games in all competitions have been fantastic. They've got a draw in the FA Cup against Arsenal in the Emirates, and then won on penalties despite having 10 men. Fantastic. And they also got a point at Anfield before that. Like, do you know what I mean? It couldn't have been a much better week for them. Southampton were heavily beaten in their last Premier League game by Brentford, and I do think they'll lose here just because of Southampton. I've gone 2 on Man United, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Man United dropping points in this because they seem to do better against a better team. But honestly, I don't think Southampton will have a better chance of winning a game for the rest of the season. So if they don't get anything here, that Derby County record might be ending the season. Those are some predictions this week. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you soon.